audible, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
I, on behalf of Women and Young Members Empowerment Committee, ICA, welcome you all in Sky High Symposium Series 42. Sky High Symposium is a Wednesday series programs conducted by the committee for the women and young members. It is one of the Women and Young Members Empowerment Committee's initiatives to not only disseminate information to all the members on technical updation and non-technical skills, but also to empower and inspire them to come at forefront and realize their verbal skills and be speakers, participate at this public forums. So today we are going to cover the session. So first session, I would like to introduce our first speaker, CA Namita Lakhotia. So Namita Lakhotia is a chartered accountant by profession, practicing for more than 15 years as a partner at LABH and Associates, co-founder at Dilseville, an online platform for all the estate and succession planning services with a vision to make organized inheritance and succession a household practice in India. An alumni of Goldman Sachs 10,000 Women Entrepreneur from IIM Bangalore, a Goldman Sachs 10,000 Women Entrepreneur Ambassador to ISB Mohali. Namita is an artist by hobby, a pranic healer, and has been having a keen interest in philanthropic activities. Mother of 3, she loves to travel and read. Her personal passion, is to make women more aware of day-to-day finances, make good mental health important in everyone's life. So by this brief introduction, I would like to welcome CA Namita Lakhotia. I would also like to add Preeti Savla ma'am would not join at the initial, but she may be joining during the session. So I would like to ask the speaker to please proceed. The floor is yours. Kindly proceed.
Oh, thank you for the warm welcome and the introduction. Thank you so much. I really hope I can do justice to the time that everyone is devoting to me. I would apologize for my webcam giving me issues today, technical issues. But since we will have our PPT running, I'm sure you will not miss my face.
No problem. We understand sometimes it's a technical issue.
Yes.
We have to adjust, ma'am. No issues. Thank you for being a speaker. Yes.
Thank you so much. Okay, so we will first start by today is the 1st of March, right? March is a very important month. Why? Okay, so we have Women's Day coming up, right? And
yes.
Women's Day, on Women's Day, is only praising women enough? No. So it's also important that we realize as women that it's very, very important to know how we can protect our wealth, what are our rights as women in families, in succession, and also why we should have our succession plans in the right place. Right? Before I start my PPT, I would like to share a small video. Okay? So my share screen is on. Yes. Can everyone see my video?
So much for coming to help us conduct this experiment today. We were of different ages. I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions.
Can you see my video?
No, ma'am. Cannot see the video.
Okay. All right. I hope you will be able to. Now, can you see it?
Screen is visible. Yes.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Thanks. Please see the video very carefully.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for coming to help us conduct this experiment today.
We were of different ages. We were made to like stand in a line.
Now I'm gonna ask you a bunch of questions. If your answer is a yes, step forward. If it's a no, please step back. Here goes. Ready? Did you learn how to ride a bicycle before the age of 10? Did you learn music in school? Did you take any lessons in sports? And no, video games are not a sport, even if it has the word game in it. Did you learn how to iron your clothes while still in school? Take a step forward. If not, take a step back. If you can make tea or breakfast, not just for yourselves, please step forward. If not, take a step back.
In the beginning, I think the questions were more general. People were still going forward and backward. Questions like, it was funny to see like the cooking question. There were a lot of men who went ahead and there were women who were going behind.
Do you usually make all the household bill payments yourself? Do you know the circle rate in your area? Do you know the price of gold today? Do you know the exact breakup of your salary?
As the questions unfolded, the stark difference came out visibly.
Do you know the details of the financial documents you're asked to sign? Have you bought a vehicle in your own name without consulting anybody? Have you bought insurance policies unassisted? Do you watch or follow the budget?
Like you think you're doing okay, but then you're like, okay, these are kind of important things that I don't look at.
Do you manage your own finances and earnings unassisted? Do you know how to invest in mutual funds? Do you know the difference between a mutual fund and an SIP? Do you make the investments for your family members or your spouse? Do you file your own income tax return? Now everyone who's in front, could you please turn around and look behind you? Initially when you guys started moving, there wasn't such a big gap. My question is, when did this gap start to occur?
The minute the questions became about managing money, the gap between men and women became very clear and evident.
You know, women handling certain responsibilities regarding their own life, which were always passed on to someone else in the family or the men.
There was a slight unfairness I realized at that time. But at that point, it seemed normal.
I was upset. I wanted to be at the front of the line. It's like, why don't I know this? Why am I not confident enough to say, yes, I am able to understand this?
It was quite an eye-opener for me because I always depended on the men of the family to take care of my investments and, plan my future.
I felt that obviously men are more into it than women. So eventually I did expect the gap to be there.
Over the years growing up, there were certain very traditionally masculine tropes that were assigned for him and certain traditionally feminine tropes that were assigned for me.
For women, it's practically debarred to learn to know and to focus on money.
I wish I had known from the beginning of my childhood and kind of thought about that I would be doing so much better.
Just actionable measures is what we want, really.
So I believe as CAs, it's the onus is on us, and we should start thinking of how we can kind of bridge this gap for the women folk around us. Starting, since it's an online session, I would need some yes and no to really think that someone is listening to me. Hello?
Yes, ma'am. We are
Yes.
able to listen you. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yes.
So it's very important to know where we stand in our inheritance, how we can plan our succession. Starting the topic, we would like to first discuss what is the inheritance rights of women. For a Hindu female, since the time is short and we cannot cover all the religions, I would cover Hindus because I believe that it is the major part of the population, and we need to discuss the rights of the Hindu female first. So as a mother from son, the inheritance rights of the Hindu women is that they are the class 1 heir. So if a mother's son deceases, that is predeceases her, so she is the class 1 heir. If there is no will of the son, in that case, she gets an equal share along with the wife and the children of the son. Okay. As a wife, again, she's the class 1 heir. As a daughter, whether she's unmarried or married, she is the class 1 heir. And as a sibling, from a brother, she's the class 2 heir. So when does the class 2 heir come into the picture? Only when the class 1 heirs are not there. And from a sister, she is 4th in order. So as a sibling, there are some chances that she'll get something from the brother's inheritance, but from a sister, it does not seem so. Only if the first 3 orders are not there, the 4th comes into place. In an HUF, what are her rights? Because in inheritance, in an HUF also, she has some rights as a daughter by birth or adoption. The adoption has to be legal, of course. She is the Kopasna, and they have the right to demand partition. As a mother, mother is not a member of the son's HUF. And as a wife by marriage, she's a member, but not a co-partner. So she cannot demand partition of the HUF. So now let's look at succession at a large. We have a case study here. This is not a real case study, but we have made it up for a clearer understanding of inheritance in India for Hindus. Ankur is a 55-year-old man. He's a self-made reputed businessman in Kolkata, having interest in IT and IT-enabled services. So he has a father who is now retired and dependent. Okay, wife, well-educated, but is a homemaker, sister, widow, and dependent on him. First daughter marries against father's wishes, and Ankur does not have cordial relation with her. And daughter 2 is married to a businessman, director in business's husband's entity, and company is under insolvency. And daughter 2 has given personal guarantee against the loan taken up by the company. So why do we have so many characters? So that when we discuss the Hindu male, we are able to, understand in inheritance where there is no will. If you have not made a will for a Hindu male, how the inheritance works. Okay, he has a son who has done his higher studies and settled abroad. He's running his own venture and is not interested in returning back to India to join father's business. And eventually, Ankur is not well and he dies after a long fight with life. So what are the after effects? Usually when a person dies without having a will or putting all his succession plans in place and having all his financials properly given to his family, what happens is the family is shocked and shattered. And who will manage the family's immediate needs? Who will manage the businesses? Who will take care of the father and the sister? And what are the assets and liabilities? How does the family know? And how to access that? How would one protect from misappropriating wealth accumulated for the benefit of the family? How to protect the second daughter share from getting attached by the court? And how to protect the distribution of wealth to the first daughter? Okay, so let us start thinking and answering. Can we make it interactive? How would the family manage their immediate needs? If anybody does not have a power of attorney in that family, so immediately it has to be from someone else's bank account, so someone else's funds, but not his own. And who will manage the business? Because his son is not interested in coming back to India. So the business succession is also a very, very important part of succession planning. Who will take care of the father and the sister? So in Hindu succession, if you have if it is interstate succession, the father is a class 2 heir. That means that the father will not get anything if the wife and the children and the mother are there. So in case the father is dependent and we know that there is no one to take care of him, it is very, very important to make a will, because then the father will not get anything once the son is not there, if the son predeceases the father. The sister, she does not get anything because the children are there and the mother, wife is there. So obviously the sister does not is not heir to his properties. Who knows what assets and liabilities he had and how to access that? So if we do not have all the details of all the assets and all the liabilities in a place for our family, if we do not have all the details in a proper Excel sheet, and we have not shared it with our family, then it is very difficult if something happens and the details cannot be retrieved. How would one protect from misappropriating wealth accumulated for the benefit of the family? So they never wanted the first daughter to get anything, but in interstate succession, it will be equally divided into the wife, the mother, and the children. So the first daughter will also get a share of his property. And the second daughter has given personal guarantee and her company is in insolvency. So her share will be attached by the court. So all this can be protected if a will is made, right? And that is why writing a will or a succession planning is very, very important, because these situations can arise in anyone's life. Okay, it's very surprising, but according to Indian statistics, property and family dispute cases together have 76% pending cases in India, and the others are only 24%. So all this is only due to not having a proper succession planning in place, right? Let's straight off jump to what is a will. Since we are all professionals, we know that will is a document considered as a legal declaration of the intention of a testator about the distribution, disposal of his possessions, assets, properties, etc. after his death. What are the common characteristics? The legal declaration is the testator's intention. With regards, it should be regards to his property. It manifests only after the death. So this is the major difference between a gift and a will. The will manifest only after the death of the person writing the will. So till the death, everything belongs to him. It can be revoked or reviewed any number of times in his lifetime. The will which is dated last will be upheld. There is no fixed format. It can be handwritten, it can be on a plain paper, and it can be written for both tangible and intangible assets. Who are the parties to the will? It is testator or the testatrix. Testatrix are the females. For the males, we use the word testator in the legal parlance, and the beneficiaries could be anybody. It could be an individual. It could be a non-individual. It could be the immediate relative, a far-off relative, non-relative. It could be a minor, person with special needs. It could also be any NGO. It could be anything. And there can be non-beneficiaries. So if if we look at this point, it's very important. We take the context of the previous example of Ankur, which we gave. So the first daughter, he didn't have cordial relations, and he could have made her a non-beneficiary. Who can be a non-beneficiary? Only a person who is a legal heir to your property. You can name that person as a non-beneficiary with adequate reason for doing so. You can't just write, okay, this person is my daughter is a non-beneficiary. No, we need to give a reason that, okay, this is the reason for making the person a non-beneficiary. Who is the executor? The person who will take the responsibility of executing your will after your death. So it can be a single executor. We can have multiple executors doing the work. It can be individual. We can have some firms doing it for us, or we can have our CA firms. We can have legal firms doing it for us. What do? They obtain the probate for us, and then wherever probate is necessary, of course, and then they get to distribute the assets among the legal heirs according to the will. Who is the witness? We need at least 2 witnesses who are independent parties to the will. Who are independent? They should not have any benefits in the will, or are not. They should not preferably be the beneficiaries in the will. So we just talked about probate when we were talking about executor. So what is a probate? We have to submit a copy of a will, okay, and we to the court, and it is certified by the court with a seal. And it is what happens is that it establishes the finality or authenticity. The court sends a letter to the beneficiaries in the will, or the legal heirs also, asking them whether they have any objection to the will. In case they have, they can file a case. In case they do not have, the court seals puts the seal and says, okay, this will can be executed now. An application needs to be made to court along with the payment of a fees. The probate is compulsory in case of will executed within areas under jurisdiction of Mumbai, Madras, and Kolkata High Courts. Will outside these areas, if they relate to immovable properties situated in these 3 areas, that means in Mumbai, Madras, and Kolkata, if you have an immovable property, but a will is there outside these places, then also probate is necessary. What is a succession certificate? It comes into the picture only if a will is not there. So it's for interstate succession. We have to apply to the jurisdictional court. Details of the legal heirs and the properties have to be given, and the properties are distributed by applying the succession law and not as per the wish of the deceased. Who can make a will? Any person who has attained majority and is of sound mind. By law, they can make a will. Okay. So can an illiterate person make a will? Yes, they can, because that person has attained maturity and is of sound mind. Can an old person make a will? Yes. If the person is of sound mind and has attained maturity, yes. Terminally ill, yes, they can make a will. Intoxicated person who does not understand what is he doing cannot in the period of intoxication. Deaf, dumb, blind can, provided he knows or she knows what they are doing. Ordinarily insane can do it during intervals of sanity. So who is an ordinarily insane? An ordinary insane person is someone who has bouts of insanity. That means they have some attacks of insanity, which is aggravated form of anxiety. So these people, when they are in their same stage, can do it. Okay, so let's focus now on intestate succession. In case a person dies without having a will, it is termed as intestate succession, and the succession law shall be applicable. In India, succession is done according to the laws of that religion. Okay. So, and why India has this thing is because the family, the way the family functions is different in different religions, and so the succession has been, interstate succession has been demarcated according to the religion which is applicable to the person. So for Hindus, Jains, and Sikhs, we have Hindu Succession Act. And for the Christians, Parsis, and Jews, we have Indian Succession Act. And for Muslims, we have the Muslim law. So let's start with a male Hindu dying without a will. So when I do this, you will understand why I gave the example of Ankur. That was for to start thinking. That was a seed to the brain, so that our brain starts working how interstate succession takes place. Male Hindu dying without a will. So there are several classes. A person in the class 1 heir is eligible to the property, and if there are more than one, all of them will be given in equality. Okay. If class 1 heir, no one from class 1 heirs are present, then class 2 heirs will be taken up. Otherwise, the property distribution completes in the class 1 heirs itself. So in the class 1 heirs, who are there? The son, daughter, mother, widow, child of predeceased child, widowed, daughter-in-law, and so on and so forth. If one of the children is predeceased, so their children, and if their children are also not there, so their children. So it goes up to the third generation in class 1 heir itself. Who are the class 2 heirs? The father. So that is why we mentioned that Ankur has father, but the father is not going to get anything from his properties because the father is not a class 1 heir. Okay. Sons, daughters, children, and siblings, the brothers and the sisters. Class 3 is agnates, that the father's brother from the father's side. So they are agnates, fathers, brothers, daughter, etc. So it's a long list. Class 4 heirs are the cognates, mother's brother. So from the mother's side, mother's brother's daughter, and so forth. Okay, let's go for some illustrations so that we understand this with a little more clarity. Interstate male. So in case 1, we have heirs left are mother, father, wife, son, daughter-in-law, daughter, and son-in-law. Let's see. Mother, wife, son, daughter. Okay. All of them shall get 25% each, being the class 1 heirs. Father, even though alive, won't get any share as he's the class 2 heir. And because there are people in class 1 who are alive. And daughter-in-law would get share only if the son has predeceased the male. Let's take up one more case. Who are the heirs left? The wife, the brother, the sister, son's widow, and predeceased daughter's son. Now, the wife's wife, the son's widow, since the son has predeceased, so the son's widow, predeceased daughter's son, okay, they all will get 33.33% each. And siblings, that is the brother and sister being class 2 heirs, will not get anything as class 1 heirs are present. Now let's come to the female Hindu. Female Hindu dies without a will. Okay. There are two types of properties which a female Hindu can have. One is the absolute property. Why two? There can be three types actually. There can be an absolute property, and there can be a property which she has inherited from her father, or she has inherited from the father-in-law or husband. Okay, so let's start discussing this. Absolute property of Hindu females is one where she can deal in whichever way she likes. So what can be included in this absolute property? Anything which she gets through inheritance or partition, or she gets through maintenance. That is, if in case she's divorced, in that case, she gets it through maintenance. She gets it through gift, or she buys it through, she purchases it, or she gets it in lieu of her own skills. So all these are absolute properties. In Hindu females, we do not have class heirs like class 1, class 2 heirs. We have succession order. Okay, so the first succession order is son, daughter, and husband. It's very easy. It's son, daughter, and husband. The second succession order is, if no one from the first succession order is present, we have heirs of husband. If no one from the heirs of husband is present, then the parents. If no one from the parents is present, then the heirs of the father, then the heirs of the mother. Please see this very carefully, because it's very surprising that the heirs of the husband will get before the parents of the female. So why writing a will for a female is absolutely important. It is important because in case you have parents, you have to look after. And as you can see, that if you have children, in that case, nothing goes to your parents. And in case they are dependent on you, you have to be very careful and proactive and write your will in the right time. There are some exceptions. If the property is inherited from parents and the lady dies without any children. So even if the property is inherited from parents, but a lady has children, so the succession order remains the same. Okay. But if the person does not have any children, in that case, the property reverts to the father's heirs. So then the first order, the second order, the third order does not hold good. Okay. If the property is inherited from the husband or the father-in-law, in both the cases, and the lady dies without having any children, the property reverts back to the husband's heirs. Okay. So, in this case also, the order will not be followed if the children are not present. Now, there's something very nice to understand. If the husband is there, but you have no children, and also the property has been inherited from your father, then nothing goes to the husband. In spite of the fact that the husband is in the first order. Let's make this more clear through some examples. There is a Hindu female who dies intestate, leaving behind her husband, one son and one daughter, and no parents. So if it's a self-owned property, her husband gets it, and son and daughter, and all of them get 1/3 each. If it's inherited from parents, it will be the same. Why? Because she has children. Inherited from in-laws, same. Why? Because she has children. So whenever a Hindu female has children, the succession order shall prevail. Hindu female dies intestate. That's no husband and no children. And parents and in-laws are living. So if it's self-earned, to husband's legal heir. Okay. Inherited from parents to legal heirs of father. Why? Because no children are there. Inherited from in-laws to legal heirs of husband. Why? Because no children are there. Hindu female dies intestate, no husband, no kids, no in-laws, one brother-in-law and parents alive. So, anyone wants to take a take on this? Okay, self-earned to husband's legal heirs, inherited from parents to father's legal heirs, and inherited from in-laws to husband's legal heirs. So this was quite similar to the previous one, this case law 2. Fourth case, Hindu female dies intestate, separated from husband but not divorced. One son and daughter alive, she never wanted to give anything to husband. So she should have written a will if she did not want to give anything to the husband, because according to the succession law, if it's self-earned and she has children, it has to go to the husband and the son and the daughter in equal proportion, right? Inherited from parents, same as above, and inherited from in-laws, also same as above, right? We have some myths around the word will. So will needs to be registered or on a stamp paper? No, there is no statutory requirement of a will being to be registered, although it's recommendatory, especially in cases where you think the will can be challenged later. Registering a will ensures that a copy is there with the registrar, and it ensures that the copy that is being produced in the court is the original one, or the will that has to be executed. A registered will can be superseded by an unregistered will. So, what is the myth? That a registered will can be superseded by an unregistered will. Yes, it can be. It has to be on a later date. Will need not be written on a stamp paper. One can write on plain paper also. So no stamp paper is required, no registration is required. I have appointed nominee. Do I need a will? Yes, of course. The concept of nominee and a beneficiary is completely different. Okay, there are n number of case laws for this. Nominees may or may not be the legal heir. They are just the caretaker of the wealth. And till the time it is passed on to the legal heir. In case a person dies without a will, the nominee has to pass on to the assets to the legal heir as determined by law. I have joint holders. Do I need a will? If it's either or, survivor can transact along with the first holder. Its former or survivor can transact only after the first holder dies. Joint holder is not a beneficial owner. Ownership remains with beneficiaries under the will or legal heirs under the act. If there is a will, the beneficiaries are there. If there is no will, the person is dying intestate, then the legal heirs come into the picture. We always say, right, too early to make a will. And after the COVID period has struck everybody, I think we should not be saying this anymore, because we do not have an expiry date mentioned on us, right? We do not know when we are going to die. Individual family concepts are catching up and we are getting westernized. Previously, if there was a young demise in the family, the entire family used to take care of the family of the deceased. But today, for anyone to take out that kind of time, or that kind of giving the person that kind of liberty to take decisions on our behalf is not possible. There are very few families which are still running on the joint family concept, and we should take this reality as early as possible so that we take the right proactive decisions in making our will. There is a rise in young deaths, not only in India, but all over the world. Since the diseases have changed their faces, diseases are also increasing day by day. And with enhancement of technology, we are also having some repercussions of this technology. As soon as one starts earning and has a dependent, he or she should consider making a will. So it's not like you should have a lot of wealth, or one should have, necessarily children to make a will. It can be any dependent. It can be your father, your mother, your in-laws, brother, your sister, anybody who is a dependent. Your will should be ready the day you start earning for them. What happens if I change my mind? You can revisit your will in case you have changed your mind any number of times. For minor changes, you just need to make a codicil. And for major changes, you can make a new will. The latest will is valid and supersedes all existing wills. It is advisable to revisit your will at least once in 3 years. Why will I can gift? We do not recommend gifting. Immediate relinquishment of right and property. Then there is a stamp duty involved. Gifts are irrevocable. And tax implications are also there. We have a very famous case, Singhania versus Singhania, Mr. Vijaypat Singhania, who is the man very well known for making Raymond's a household name across the country, reduced to a hand-to-mouth existence. I hope we have all read this in the newspapers as case laws. He gifted his he was holding 37% stake in Raymond's, okay? And it was worth approximately 1,000 crores. And he gifted it to his son Gautam Singhania in 2015 out of love, affection, and of course, belief that the son will never, deceive him. So what he said to national TV is very surprising. In the 79 years of my life, this is quote unquote, in the 79 years of my life, I had never thought I would have to take a family dispute to court after giving away everything I had, and that I wouldn't even have a roof over my head. What can one do about his HUF assets, he or her? One can bequeath his or her share in HUF through a will. Whole HUF property cannot be bequeathed. It can be given to any relative or non-relative, and on death, his share is freezed and is distributed as and when the partition takes place. So, the very important thing to note here is the distribution will take place only when the partition takes place. And even if he or she is the karta, that person can bequeath only his share, not the entire property of the HUF. Okay, so is forming a trust a great idea for succession? In some cases, it is, though it is little costly, but we recommend this to to some specific clients who fall under the category where the trust is the best option for them for succession planning. It helps avoid estate duty, reduces succession disputes. Why do we say it reduces succession disputes? Because no probate is necessary. Okay, so if you have a testamentary trust, that is a trust which will be formed or which takes shape only when the will is executed. So in that case, it need not undergo a probate. That since trust is an independent body, it will start functioning. Complete control during lifetime. So we can have rules laid down in the trust, and the rules can be for when we are living and also after our death. And this is very, very useful for parents of minors. So we have n number of clients who are choosing to make testamentary trust for their children, as their children are minor and there's no one who's there to look after the children after their death. So they form trusts wherein they form trustees, and at least the property is well taken care of. The children are not deprived of financials and schooling, education, fooding, good healthcare, etc. And it's also used for physically and mentally challenged dependents. Will versus trust. So, what happens, or what are the effects in the case of a will and in the case of a trust? So let's see what factors are affecting them. Okay, the first is when it takes effect. The first is on death. That is, the will always takes effect on death, but the trust may take effect immediately or on death, depending on the kind of trust. If the trust has been made to take effect immediately, it will do so. If it's a testamentary trust, it will take effect only after the death of the testator or the testatrix. Probate dispute litigation in a will is possible, in a trust not possible. Control after death in will not possible, in trust yes, it's possible. Possible during lifetime. Will cannot be executed during lifetime, but a trust can be executed in a lifetime. Estate duty, say we do not have estate duty in our country. But we have given this because the trust never attracts estate duty. Wealth planning for minor beneficiary, to a certain extent, you may through your will, very limited, but through a trust, you can completely do so, and that too in detail. How can we avoid litigation? We should keep the will at a safe place. You can share it with the family that you have made the will. Share the place or storage with the executor only. Sign the will in the presence of the witnesses. Attach a doctor's certificate near about the date of signing the will about your physical and mental fitness. And mention that the will supersedes all the existing wills made on so and so date. So the date will be mentioned. It will be great if you could read out the will and video record it. How to write a will? So what are the important points in writing a will? So when we write a will, the date of writing a will is very important. The personal details. Suppose we have our name as shown in our government ID. We should have either the name of the spouse or the father or the mother as in the government ID again. What is the permanent residing address? What is the temporary address? All that should be there as personal details. Any declaration, a declaration of sound mind and good health, that is a doctor's certificate, should be there. It should be written that this is the last will and I revoke all my existing wills. Executor details, very important, though executor details are not mandatory in the will, because if we do not appoint the executor, probably the courts will. And the beneficiary details has to be there, otherwise the making the will is of no point. Assets details mentioning the beneficiary against each asset. So sometimes people do not like to give the details of each asset. In that case, we just have to mention the percentage or the way in which the division has to be made. But if we mention the assets, it's best that we write the beneficiary name against it and the percentage of distribution against it. Contingent beneficiary, in case one of the beneficiaries mentioned refuses to take his or her share or predeceases the testator, contingent beneficiary comes into place. So for every primary beneficiary, there should be a contingent beneficiary. Non-beneficiaries should be mentioned if you intend to not to give anything to one of your legal heirs. So in case it's your child or your wife, I mean the spouse or mother or father, then you should mention that why you want to make this person a non-beneficiary. A good reasoning saves the will from any kind of challenge that the non-beneficiary may make. Any special condition you want to put in the will, it's possible. Suppose that this asset shall go to my child only if he or she has completed the graduation. So that is possible. General declarations and protective clauses, as in, suppose there is a will wherein we are not giving anything to the legal heirs, and we have placed them as non-beneficiaries, and there should be a protective clause saying that anyone who not mentioned in the will does not get anything from my properties. So protective clauses properly framed and drafted in the legal parlance should be put to protect the will. And the signing of the witnesses and the testator is very important. Okay, so this was all about will, and there are a few slides about gathering information of a family that a family should know in one place. Since we are chartered accountants, we will not need much of this information since we are all aware of this, but I will quickly in 5 minutes go through this. There are two kinds of information. One, sensitive financial information, which can be shared with all the members of the family, including our children, only if we think it's fit to do so, especially our children, only when they are above the age of 16. But parents may take their own call according to their situation. General information for regular and emergency purposes. So all this information should be there in one place. What are sensitive informations? Details of all vehicles, family tax consultant, insurance agents, stockbrokers, mutual fund consultants, other consultants like chartered accountants and law consultants, any cases that are pending. So the consultants who are helping us with that. Bank account details, bank lockers, FD, then electronic money details like credit cards, UPIs, Google Pay, everything should be there in one place. Medical and life insurance should be there. Immovable property details, the original papers, loans, any mortgages, lease, tenancy, all should be mentioned clearly to the family members. Liquid investments should be there. Details of debtors and creditors. Liabilities, nominations. Who are the nominees? In where have we placed nominees? Everything should be known to the family. Appointed guardians for the minor children, dependents, everything should be there with valid documents of appointment. And very crucial, that we should all have power of attorney and will in place. Why power of attorney? Power of attorney usually should be given to the spouse if we have cordial relations. And if we do not have, we have to really think whom we can believe in and choose. It is essential because in cases where incapacitation takes up, suppose a person is in a vegetative state and not in a state of signing, and for his or her own treatment also money is required. So if there is a power of attorney, that person can help with taking out the money from the account or selling off some of the mutual funds and or other investments and taking care of the needs. What are the general informations? Family doctor, specialized doctor, ambulance, medicine, documentation details like, where are the passports, driving license, what are the numbers, Aadhaar card details, vaccination cards, PAN cards. So all these details should be in one place. Details of all important people in the family, your friends, your neighbors, they should be available to all the family members, user IDs and passwords, because we have user IDs and passwords everywhere. The booking processes of everything, including even LPG gas, CSC complaining, everything should be there. The Wi-Fi details. We should not be asking our kids what are the Wi-Fi details, right? Details of all close contacts of kids. This is very, very important as our children grow up. And how should we do it? It should be in Excel sheets. It should be password protected. It can be uploaded on the Google Drive. Share it with your family, and there should be real-time updation. And this can be done only if it is on the Google Drive. So whenever we are handling document on the Google Drive, then it is shared in real time, and updation can be made real time with the family, right? Passwords should be smart. For some documents which are very, very important, we had an OTT named Arya, and I was very, very impressed by the way they showed password protection in that. So this couple, the husband died, and the lady who played Arya, she guessed the password because it was something which was very intimate between both of them. It was a song. So similarly, if we are sharing something with our spouse, which is very, or our parents or our children, which is very, very secretive, or we do not want to divulge in front of others, we should know what password to keep, and it should be between the two of you so that it can be used when required, but not used or guessed by anyone else. Place of storage of all physical documents should be mentioned, and all scanning of all documents and a copy should be kept in proper place. To do all this, we need to talk to our families. We should take steps to do this, and when all the documents are ready, we should do a dry run. What is a dry run? A dry run is a situation where we assume or we enact that we are not there anymore, and whether our family is actually able to access our bank accounts, whether our family is actually able to access other things. And this is very, very important, so that our family is confident enough to operate and have financial support when we are not there. Thank you very much for your patience, and I'm stopping the screen share now. If we have any questions, I'm ready to answer.
Thank you so much, ma'am. You have already covered a lot, but we do have some questions, so I would like to take up them one by one.
Sure.
So one of the members has asked, what about the floating assets like mutual funds or fixed deposit, which keeps maturing and changing?
Right. So in that, when mutual funds keep maturing and changing, remember that in a will, we will always write that our mutual funds, we will not mention mutual funds which are going to mature immediately in our will with the name and the date and everything. We'll just write mutual funds in this particular DP goes to, suppose, 3 beneficiaries, Mr. X, Mrs. Y, and Mr. Z. Maybe one is the father, one is the wife, and one is the child. And in proportion, say 40 and 20. So whatever on the date of the death, whatever is the balance in that DP or in that mutual fund account will be divided.
Okay. Next up, you have discussed last unregistered will prevail over earlier registered will.
Right.
Is this statement true or false?
Okay, so whenever there is a registered will, if you want to make any changes to the registered will, then we will have to register that will, that part as well, or we will make a new will and register it as well. Okay, but in case we suppose a registered will was made, say 7-8 years back, and there is an unregistered will which is well signed and made, signed by the witnesses, signed by the testator, and kept, and it's written that all my last will which was registered this will supersede that will. In that case, the unregistered will shall prevail. But we will, as I mentioned, we will need to write in that will that this is the will which shall prevail and not the registered will.
Then we have whether illegitimate children get the same right as legitimate children.
Yes, they do.
And then is it the 3 cities or under the jurisdiction of 3 cities which can encompass a wide area within the state? I guess you mentioned about
Yes,
Maharashtra,
so
Madras.
right. So it's Mumbai, Chennai, and Kolkata, right? So if you are making a will in these 3 cities, you will have to get the probate. But even if you're making a will somewhere else and you have an immovable property in any of these 3 cities, then also you need to get a probate done.
Then we have, can will provide that a son or daughter marrying out of community shall not get any property.
Yes, very much. So we have our first example where the daughter married against his wishes, right? So if we assume that the daughter was married out of the community, Ankur could have written a will where he could have said that my daughter, if she marries person who is not a Hindu, will not get anything in my will.
Then how to manage multiple property and safe ways to transfer to child after death, I guess.
So you are talking of a minor, is it?
We have 2 questions related to that. One are children are NRI and then they're minor. So we have 2 kinds of questions.
No, so children, when we mention children, I presume they are minor. Even if they are NRIs, if they are adults, then you have different ways of doing it. Through your will also, you do not have to take care of them, right? So let me take up the first part where the children are minor and either you are going through any disease or you're going through a situation where you think they may face a problem. So in that case, sometimes, you do not have a cordial relation with your spouse and you really think that if I am not there or my spouse will never take care of my children. In that case, testamentary trust or sometimes even a trust which you form immediately in your existence is also useful. You should transfer the properties to the trust. You should form proper trustees. Having some independent trustees is a very good idea instead of having all relatives as your trustee, and placing appointment and resignation clauses in place. Also placing clauses for buying and selling of fixed assets, of immovable properties. Also spending limit from the the liquid assets. All this can be written down in the trust.
Right.
This is for minor, and if you're asking for NRIs,
yeah, it are located at NRI and parents are in India.
I'm not clear actually what this person wants to ask.
How should one plan for succession if assets are in India but children are NRI? So
doesn't matter. You just write your will, because you can give anything to your NRI children. If you are an Indian or an NRI and your properties are in India, you can write a will in India and it can be executed. No problem.
And the next question we have, which is better, nomination in bank account or joint holder? with either or survive?
Both have to be there. I mean, see, joint holder has a different purpose, right? Joint holder also helps when the person is alive, right? If you are traveling a lot, someone has to be there to actually operate the account. So either or survivor. So either of them can operate, or one of the survivors, whoever survives, can operate. So it is also about the day-to-day activities, right? And nomination should be there, because once a person leaves, nominee is the first person to get it. And then comes the role of the legal heir. So your money is not like lying just idle in the bank. Nominees have it, right? That is the reason nomination should be in place.
Then we have, in case of inter-religion marriage, which act will apply?
So in inter-religion marriages, for men, the same religion, continues. But for women, this question becomes dicey, because the court will see which religion the woman is following. So in case a Hindu is marrying, hypothetically, a Muslim, and the Hindu female continues to follow Hinduism and is going to the temples, doing everything which a Hindu should be doing, and has not changed her surname, is not converted to a Muslim, she will fall under Hindu.
We do have a lot of questions still pending, but I guess we're running out of time now. So maybe we can take it up later and host.
Okay.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Thank you is such a prayer that cannot be seen or touched. It must be felt by heart. And I feel honored and privileged to get opportunity to propose vote of thanks. I would like to thank our honorable delegate, Namita Lakhotia ma'am, who blessed us with her presence. Words are not enough to thank you for such an eye-opening session. The way video started, and I guess each and everyone felt that yes, even after being professional, we are not very aware of this area. So thank you very much. I, on behalf of the organizing committee, convey deep regards and hearty thanks to our chairman, CA Preeti Chawla, and Vice Chairman CA Abhay Chhajer sir, for their constant help and guidance that radiated a source of energy within us. If time is money, then today you have spent millions for us. Thanks to all the participants for making this session successful. And thank you very much, ma'am, for timely completion and taking up the questions very patiently and gracing us with your session. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you for all the lovely words. And since it was a 1 hour session, I would have loved to cover what essentially our family should know very nicely. Since I usually take a 2 hour session for only that portion and a 2 hour for succession planning. But I tried to rush through and could not do much justice to the entire topic. But surely we can connect again if any of you need help. I'm always available.
That would be wonderful. We'll be looking forward to it.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I would leave in between the next session. I'm so sorry. I would love to listen to the next speaker, but I have something very important which was priorly lined up. So
no issues, ma'am.
I will listen to her for some time, but I would have to leave.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Our next speaker is CA Shefali Arora. Shefali Arora is a chartered accountant and a partner at ATMS and Company LLP. She has been a member of ICAI since 2002. She has also successfully completed certificate course on wealth management and financial planning from ICAI. She handles the people management of the firm and has seen it grow from a 5-member team to a team of 122. Through her journey as a CA, she has developed a passion to spread financial knowledge to her clients, especially women, and help them to attain their financial goals. Currently, she has helped more than 150 families in creating wealth. Her husband, CA Samir Arora, is also a renowned chartered accountant with a vast experience of 23 years. They have two sons. Along with her career, Shefali also finds her happiness as a philanthropist. She has also been instrumental in starting the Mulund Center of Angel Express NGO. She also conducts various team building programs to instill bonding in her firm. Her favorite event is Good Deed Work, where everybody in the firm participates in giving back to the society. She has coordinated numerous events of ICAI in the past. So, friends, let us welcome to our today's learned speaker, C.S. Shefali Arora, to share her knowledge on power of visualization. Over to you, Shefali. Thank you.
Thank you, Jinal, for the kind words and a warm welcome to all my fellow friends. It's always so good to come back on this platform and share some knowledge to all of you. The last time I remember coming here and speaking on wealth management, I really made a few friends after the seminar and looking forward to making many more after today's session. Firstly, I want to start by appreciating Namita for her presentation and for the insightful session. It was a very important topic that we, especially the women, avoid and ignore, and they keep procrastinating. So very wonderfully conducted first session, and I really hope that you enjoy this session as well. So
Thank you, Shefali. Thank you so much.
The topic for today is power of visualization. So friends, what is it that comes to your mind when you see the word Amitabh Bachchan? Or maybe a beach? Or maybe iPhone? So there are visuals that get created in your mind, correct? When you talk about Amitabh Bachchan, the first thing that comes in mind is the KBC and the computer, and you visualize Amitabh Bachchan asking questions. A beach, you see water and sand. iPhone, of course, the most popular phone in today's world. So these are images, these are visuals that get created in your mind. What is visualization? In simple terms, it is just the set of images that keep playing in your mind. The images could have dialogues, it could have a location. These images play just like a movie in your head, correct? This is not a very alien term. We all have been visualizing something or the other right through our childhood. As a child, as a student, we visualize our teachers being the pet of our teachers. In our exams, after our exams, we visualize getting good marks in our papers. Then you grow up, you visualize securing admission in a very good college. Further, being women, being a girl child, maybe visualizing her life partner, the perfect life partner. There are vacations every now and then we feel like going on a vacation, and there are visualizations related to the vacations already in the head as we want it to be. Correct. So this is not a very alien term. We all know what it is. Well, let's just take an example. See the types of visualizations that you have. You wake up in the morning, around 9 o'clock, you receive a call from your client saying that he wants an urgent meeting. The first thing that comes to your mind is a negative thought, negative visualization. First, the client must be unhappy. Second, he must be dissatisfied with our work. Third, he wants to complain, blah, 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 blah. And there is a series of negative thoughts that follow. Our human mind is so trained to having negative thoughts first that anything, any situation that comes up, the first thought is a negative thought. But on the other hand, it could be that the client would have called either to appreciate us for the wonderful work. Maybe he has some new opportunity that he needs to discuss. Maybe there's some new opportunity for us that he wants to give us. So it's very important that your first visualization, the first thought should be a positive thought. Friends, our mind is like a magnet. If you visualize, if you attract positive emotions like health, good health, success, wealth, happiness, prosperity, it will give you, the universe will give you all those positive emotions that you have desired. But on the other hand, if you visualize negative thoughts or if you attract negative emotions, it will give you what you have asked for. So it's, my friends, it's time for change. Time to change the first thought that you get, the first visualization that you have. It should always and always be a positive visualization. Chalo, let's play a game. I request all of you to just close your eyes. And here, there's something I'm going to play. There was something that just came up. That's something that you must have visualized on hearing this first song. Now there's something more. Now let's listen to the second song. Visual. There was a visual that just came up on the hearing of this song. Correct. Maybe in the first song, Nacho Nacho song, you must have visualized N.T. Ramarao Jr., NTR Jr. and Ram Charan doing their famous leg twist or the Nacho song, Nacho step that everybody knows. But in the second song, how many of you visualized Alka Yagnik? Because she was the singer. I am sure everybody, majority of us, visualized Madhuri Dixit with her famous Ek Do Teen step. Correct? This proves that mind understands pictures more than sounds. It remembers pictures more. Correct? So there are five sensory ways for input. 5 ways in which our body absorbs information. The first being the tongue for taste. Second is the nose for your smell. Third is the ear for hearing. The fourth is the fingers for for the touch, for feeling. Fifth is the eyes, but the most important sensory organ is the eyes. Because my friends, research has proved that 70% of your of the input happens through your visuals. You must have seen suddenly there's a change in the hotel industry, in the restaurants that you go. The chefs have suddenly started giving more focus to the presentation of the dish, because the first look that you have creates a perception in your mind, and it creates that positivity about the dish. If you like the presentation, you are definitely going to like the dish. Hence, it is very, very important. So we are talking about visualization. What is visualization? We've already seen in our earlier slides that it's a set of images that happen, that get created in the mind. It is a power. It is a power so powerful. It is the ability to create the outcome that we cannot see, but we desire. Friends, everything that has been created or achieved on this earth has got started in somebody's mind. Somebody visualized something, and that is what we have today. And when you desire something, you focus all your mental energy on that thing. When you have a burning desire with all that mental energy, in some form or the other, it gets manifested in your physical reality. It becomes a reality in your life. And the key is the power of visualization. Visualization has the power to create your future. It has the power to lead you to a successful life. It has the power to bring so much success, so much money, and it helps you create the ideal life for you. What you see is what you believe. The seeing can be with your eyes, or the seeing can be also in your mind, does not matter. Friends, we all know that it is a technique. It is not a new technique. People have been using it for years. I would here like to highlight a few celebrities, few famous people who have already used the power of visualization in their lives. We all know Oprah Winfrey, a famous, renowned woman and a very successful woman in the United States. She is an amazing anchor, and she has used the law of visualization for her career. It has helped her reach the heights where she is currently there. Will Smith, an American actor, a producer, a songwriter. He became a billionaire even before the age of 18 years. Will Smith also gives credit to the power of visualization for all his success. So these are a few famous names around the world. Let's come to India. Friends, you all know Milkha Singh. Milkha Singh, along with his practice, physical training, he used to rehearse the races in his mind. He used to visualize his races before every race. He used to visualize the track. He used to visualize the speed on which he's running and the exact speed which would lead him to victory. And we all know this power that he used brought fame not only to him but to our country as well. If we talk about Sachin Tendulkar in one of his interviews had mentioned that along with his physical training, he used to mentally practice in front of all the fast bowlers, and this helped him perform on the actual ground. And we all know he has achieved great success in his career as a cricketer. A.R. Rahman used to still, in fact, A.R. Rahman in one of his interviews had mentioned that he visualizes his auditorium before any concert, visualizes his auditorium packed with audiences. He visualizes himself giving the best music, everybody enjoying, and his concert to be a super success. And we all know that this indeed is true. So if the celebrities can use it, such a simple but such a powerful technique, if the celebrities can use it, me and you can use it as well. Let's see how. I use it in my daily life. So to start with this concept, I got introduced to this concept from the book Secret by Rhonda Byrne. I am sure many of you have already read this book. This book talks about the law of attraction, but the part which stayed with me was the part which focuses the law of visualization and how powerful it is to create a successful life. I use this technique in my everyday life, be it any important discussion. I use it before any meeting, especially if it is a difficult meeting. I visualize it being a very easy meeting, the client understanding my side of the story. And actually, many a times, actually, the difficult ones which I feel in my head is difficult turn out to be a very good meeting. I use it in traffic where there is a lot of traffic. Just sit down, visualize that the traffic has cleared very quickly. And 70-80% of the time, it does clear. Believe me, it's so powerful and so magical. Like A.R. Rahman, I also use it for any celebration, small or big. I just visualize the event to be super successful, all the invitees coming in, loving the food, loving the event, and going back happy. I also use it, I have a teenage son, two teenage sons. So any discussion, convincing them is very difficult. So I use my power of visualization before starting any discussion with them, and it helps most of the time. So so what I mean to say, it's not only the larger areas of my life where I use the power of visualization. It is also the smaller ones. It makes life very easy, very easy, and I am motivated all of the time, most of the time. So here I would like to share a very small example that recently happened. So there was this wish. One day, just having while I was taking my evening rounds, I had a wish that I want to go to Dubai, one of my favorite places. So that one thought led to another thought. I suddenly visualized myself on the 124th floor of Burj Khalifa and the observation deck where I'm viewing the whole city. That thought led to the desert safari. That thought led to the Dubai Mall. And suddenly there was shot. It was an autopilot. I was not putting any additional efforts for it, believe me. It was an autopilot, and suddenly there was a short movie that got created around that Dubai. That was forgotten. Okay, I came home, nothing, no discussion, nothing. 2 days later, my husband comes and says that he has a conference that he has to attend, and guess where it was? It was Dubai. And this is how we got our small vacation. I joined him after the conference, but it was really surprising. I was really surprised that with that mere thought, it turned into a reality. And this was our small vacation that we had last year. So when I read the book, or when I got introduced to this concept, I was very excited. I started using it in small areas of my life and really found results. At that time, I thought that, okay, if this is working on me, let me see if it works on somebody else. Being the elder child of the family, I had a younger brother who was who could easily be the guinea pig. So I shared the idea with him. His name is Karan. He's also a chartered accountant. So he was in his 10th at that time. So very stressed about his exams, very stressed about the percentage that he would get. And when I shared the idea with him, we discussed on the next steps. I told him that you should visualize the percentage that you want in your exams. That was the time when, in the 90s, when parents were very happy with an 80 and 85%, unlike the case that is now. So Karan wrote his percentage as 89%. We prepared a nice poster, and this poster was placed right in front of his study table, where he used to frequently see it. On and off, I used to keep reminding him about his goal, about his desire. He used to visualize his mark sheet in front of him with 89% written on it. When exams happened, it was time for results. And believe me, friends, when we saw the result, it was 89.6% in those days. It was huge. It was a miracle that actually got created. So we all were very happy. And Karan is now he was so motivated by that small incident that he has been using it all through his life. He has a very successful career and is a very good research analyst working with a very good research company in India. So if the celebrities can do it, if I can do it, if Karan can do it, it is not a very difficult technique, is what I mean to say. Let's see. I urge all of you to start this using the power of visualization instantly, right now. But after 2 months, don't, if we meet in some seminar or some other place, please don't tell me that हमने तो ये visualize किया था, we had visualized this, and plus still there are no results, because there is a particular method by way which we need to visualize. Let's see how. Let's just go step by step and see how you can use the power of visualization. The first step is create mental images. Okay? Say, for example, you want this house. So create a visual of exactly an exterior visual of exactly how you want your house. How many floors, how many rooms, and from outside, how your house would look. Add dialogues to your visualization. Rehearse the discussions that would go around the house, maybe with the seller, maybe with the bank. See that all discussions work in your favor, and this is the best deal that would have happened at your price. The third step, add minute details. Now go into the house, see the place, location of your living room, the dining room, the rooms that you want, the size of the rooms. You could even visualize the texture of the curtains, the dining table, the sofa, anything and everything. Visualize, see how it is. And the fourth and the most important part is believe that this can come true. Your belief that something beautifully can be created is very important. And visualize in a way that it has already happened, as if you are living your dream right now. There is also one more thing, very, very important thing, which we all should do. I have mine. You should create yours as soon as possible. That is a vision board. What is a vision board? It is a collage of pictures of of all your desires and wishes. So maybe the vision board could have your house, your car, your travel plans. It could also have the life partner, the ideal life partner you want. It could be anything, anything. Just cut and paste the pictures on your vision board and place it in a place where you frequently see it. You keep seeing it on and off, and believe me, it will come true. Here, I really want to share a small video, very important video, again from the movie Secret. Please go through.
I started to create something called a vision board, where I take something that I want to achieve, something that I want to attract, or watch, or soulmate of my dreams, and I put a picture of what I wanted up on this board called a vision board. And every day I would sit in my office and I would look up at this board and I would start to visualize. I would really get into the state of having already acquired it. And I was getting ready to move as we put all the furniture, all the boxes, put into storage. And I made 3 different moves over a period of 5 years. And then I ended up in California and bought this house, renovated it for a year. And then had all the stuff brought from my former home 5 years earlier. One morning at 7:30 in the morning, my son comes into my office and one of the boxes that was sealed for 5 years was right at the doorstep. And my son, Keenan, was sitting on the box, banging away at the box. And I said, "Sweetheart, will you please stop me? I'm doing some work here." He says, "What's in the boxes then?" I said, "Well, honey, those are my vision boards."
What's a vision board?
I said, well, it's where I put all my goals up. I cut them out and put all my goals up, something that I want to achieve in my life. Of course, at 5.5 years old, he didn't understand it. So I said, sweetie, let me just show you. That'll be the easiest way to do it. And so I cut the box open. And when I pulled up the vision boards, there was a picture on there of a home that I was visualizing 5 years earlier. And what was shocking to me was we were living in that house, not a house like it. I had bought my dream home, renovated it, and didn't even know it. But I looked at that house, I started to cry because I was just blown away.
Why are you crying?
Honey, I finally understand the law of attraction. I finally understand the power of visualization. I finally understand everything that I've read, everything that I've worked with my whole life, the way I've built companies. It worked for my home as well. And I bought our dream home and didn't even know it.
So friends, that is the power of a vision board. So every time I see this video, I really get goosebumps. I don't know why. I just love the picture. I love the movie Secret. So if you guys have not yet read the book or seen the movie, I really urge you to see the movie. It's very powerful, very, very powerful. Every part, every theme that it carries, it's wonderfully presented. And if you can make it a part of your life, nothing like that. So I just want to give you a few tips for to start using the power of visualization. You could start with visualizing your meetings before they happen. If it is a first-time client, visualize your client loving your product, onboarding you immediately, and at the fee that you have asked for without any questions. It is possible. If you have a difficult client meeting, you know that this is a firefighting meeting that is going to happen. So visualize, see the client convinced with whatever you say. See the client change his perspective about you and your services. See the client lovingly agreeing to everything and happy in the end of the meeting. It may seem very difficult, but it's worth the try. Parents can visualize their children growing up to be successful human beings right from their birth. You can see them going into taking a career, nice career. You can see them becoming chartered accountants. You can just create a nice, successful future for them. Visualize. The mantra is very simple. Just visualize. And for my women friends, if you want that diamond necklace or that diamond ring that you would have seen at the store and which is very expensive, you know what to do. Just visualize. So friends, visualization is a very, very powerful technique. You can start with small visualization. Be the Michelangelo of your life. Start those small visualizations step by step and create your own ideal life. But be very mindful of what you visualize because the visualizations that go into the universe is like a genie. Whatever you give to the universe always says your wish is my command. I really thank you for your patience and your patient listening. I hope it was a good seminar. I was able to justify the topic, and if there are any questions, anything you want to know, I am open. Feel free to ask.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for a wonderful session. And we have a lot of questions. I'm just asking. So one participant, Shubham, is asking what is the name of the movie? Ma'am, your voice is not coming.
The name of the movie is The Secret.
Okay. So name of the movie is The Secret. And there is also feedback from participants. So I want to read that also. So very positive, madam. Just believe it and get it. And another participant is saying very true. The law of positivity works very nicely. And one person is asking, is it magic?
I believe in miracles.
Ma'am, your voice is little bit.
Can you hear me now? Is it better?
Yeah, better now.
So I was saying that if you believe it is magic, I personally believe in miracles because the first step for a miracle is to allow it to happen. And how can you allow it? By believing in it. So the moment you start believing, magic happens, unfold. I have various examples. I have seen it in my life, daily life, like the one I said about the Dubai vacation happening. There is one more I just forgot during the presentation is my iPhone, which I also got in a similar manner. It was surprising. I just wanted one and I got it as a surprise gift. So the moment you believe, you allow yourself to having those miracles, and the universe will definitely give it.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And there is one feedback that both session presentation are too good, and please share the same at least with the members. So they are asking for the this presentation.
Will definitely share.
Okay. And ma'am, one participant is asking what CA should visualize.
As I said, so if it is a CA student, he should visualize the mark sheet. If it is a practicing CA or a professional of a CA working in some good firm, you can visualize your meetings during the day. So the first thing to start with is visualize your day. The first thing when you wake up, visualize your day as how you want it. You can visualize the ease with which you want the day to flow. You can visualize the results that you want to get out of your meetings or your discussions. You can visualize your meeting with your boss. If you know there are times when maybe you have made some error and the boss is not happy, you can visualize him being receptive, calming, and understanding your point of view, and it will definitely happen. Believe me, there are some events that are happening that you have organized. Visualize them being the best, your best, you giving your best effort, and the team, the event finishing people being very happy, and the results being exactly the way have desired. So these things happen. And it will only make your life very easy and peaceful.
Ma'am, another question is if we visualize always positive things, but finally negative happens. Now, how to get strength to deal with negative things?
So the negativity that has come in. So sometimes things just happen. So what you have to do is switch your mood. So what happens the moment something negative comes into your life, there is a negative emotion that sets in. You need to change that tempo. Is it easy? No, it is not easy. You have to force yourself. Start bringing in small positive thoughts. Start seeing the goodness is not the right word, but why that thing must have happened. Start visualizing what better you could have done to get the desired outcome. And gradually, maybe the next time if such thing happens, the result may be different.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And there are another lot of questions participants are sending. Can CA in practice do? Okay, this is relating to wealth management. They are asking what CA homemaker should visualize. Ma'am, what CA homemaker should visualize?
Homemakers can visualize a very easy day in their house. You could visualize all the members of the house cooperating with them, being happy with the efforts the homemakers have put in. They could visualize their children listening to them and understanding their perspectives. And in this way, there are small, you can, the homemakers also could visualize, like I visualize it for my maids. There's nothing to hide, that we have the best of maids and they are coming every day and making our life easy and helping us balance our work life, bringing the best balance between our work and your office, your home. So small things, anything and
Yes, ma'am.
everything that you
And
can.
another question is, do we need to visualize about?
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
Do we need to visualize our dream every day or anything like on a specific time?
No, it has to be every day. You can visualize it twice, thrice, depends on how early you want it, how desperate you are to uh, get your desired outcome or the dream. You want the dream to be fulfilled. You have to live your dream. So in the movie, if you see, somebody had desired money. So he had created a poster of a specific amount and he had placed it right above the wall. The first thing when he used to get up, right beside the ceiling, on the ceiling. So when you get up, that is the first thing you see. And you keep playing that movie, that visualization again and again in your head and see it as true. Okay, so the more you give power to it, that mental energy I was talking about, the more mental energy you give it to it, the earlier you will achieve it. There is no specific time or there is no specific day that you should do. You should be living your dream as if it has been fulfilled. Poonam, you are on mute.
Sorry, I'm saying that ma'am nicely explained that how desperately you want it. Depending upon that, you need to visualize it. And if you think you can, so we are thinking caps, my friend. So this is a feedback from someone, and there, ma'am Priyanka is thanking you. Very nice sessions, he's saying, and. Visualization has to be done more than once or just once. I think we have covered this question as well. Then it is also feedback. Power of visualization has been wonderfully presented. It is a real eye opener for everyone. It will be very helpful in your day-to-day life. So ma'am, we can see a lot of participants are like getting benefited by it. They are saying it's kind of eye opener. And what I got from this, like we listen something or read something, but application is very much important. And by giving the day-to-day examples and your life example, you like make us feel that how we can also apply. And it really works when we like listen someone else example. It's easy to understand.
Everybody has gained something or the other from the presentation.
Yeah. And when one participant is asking how to know as to whether the visualization is working for me, or am I doing it correctly or not?
So in one of the slides, I had mentioned that there is a way of visualizing it. To the minutest from the just a picture. Say if we are talking about the house, from just the picture of the house to the minutest of the details. You have to keep visualizing. You have to keep playing that visualization in your head again and again. But the most important thing is that you have to believe that it will come true. Definitely. It may take time. Sometimes what happens is you have manifested some things so deeply that, but it is taking time. So there is a seed which you have manifested, you have sown. The sapling, the seed has reached here, and suddenly you start believing it is just ready to come out as a plant. You're just ready to bear the fruits. And suddenly you start feeling that no, this is not happening. It won't happen. It is not happening. The seed, the whole effort that you have put in, the whole process of visualization just goes away. So keep believing, and it is definitely going.
Ma'am, one question is received, and this I think a lot of females might be facing. So, if one is a homemaker, she's chartered accountant, she wants to work, but she is not getting family support. So, what she should visualize?
Start with visualize yourself having the confidence to talk to your family. Okay. First and foremost is your confidence that the family members need to see. So when it's all happening in the head, okay? You are having that, you are confidently approaching them and talking to them about your desire. The next step is them being receptive and understanding your perspective, listening to you and agreeing to what you want. The next step would be you actually going out and working. Okay. So in these three steps, you can add dialogues, see what you are talking, see what they are responding exactly the way you want to, and in a manner which is favorable to you. And then you have to go one step further, see yourself working whatever time you want, however kind of organization or area you want to work in, and visualize the whole thing. So the first step of already is happened in your head. It becomes easier. It gives you the motivation to take that step. So yeah, so that is it. That's so simple. Just visualize the way you want it and it will happen definitely. It might take a little time. ऐसा नहीं है कि if you just ask them today and tomorrow you will get results. Be persistent. Be persistent in disclosing what you want. Talk to them and they'll definitely answer.
One more feedback is from Bhumi. She is saying, "Thank you very much, madam, for wonderful explanations to ease our life and achieve our dream." And one question is there, and which is my question as well. Like we are visualizing something and getting the negative result. So that happened with me. Like in last week only, I was visualizing and got just opposite result. So how to correct it?
There was a doubt in your visualization. So you were visualizing something, but there was a doubt ये होगा कि नहीं होगा. As in, it's human mind. Human mind likes to create doubts, right? So
Yeah.
the moment doubt comes in, as I was talking about that sapling, it's almost here. But the moment doubt comes in, it will come back. Everything will be shattered and you will get negative results. See if there is a doubt coming in. See if you have to fine tune your visualizations more, bring in more clarity. And maybe the next time visualize, do it with a lot of confidence and positivity. You will definitely get the desired result.
Okay, so we should be firmly believing this will definitely going to happen without any doubt.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. And ma'am, participants are demanding more of your sessions uh, in feedback. And okay, so any other participant has any other questions? We have covered all questions. Ma'am, we don't have any other questions. So thank you so much, ma'am, for wonderful session and explaining so well. PPT is very good. On behalf of Women Empowerment Committee, I thank you. Please accept my formal vote of thanks. And thank you to chairperson of Women Empowerment Committee and Young Members Committee, CA Preeti Sabla ma'am, and CA Abhay Chhajirji, Vice Chairman, Women Empowerment Committee and Young Members Committee, for this conducting these kind of program. And I'm thanking all the moderator and speakers who have been part of this. And lastly, the audience who is with us and listening this program. So thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. And I request technical team to please conclude the session.